Hey guys, we're live on the moon. A wavy, spooky moon. Uh, I've been camped on Clavis for about 23 minutes, and I've been waiting for the moon to go higher in the sky so that it'll kind of settle down. But it's just not going to settle down. So I decided that old Bill's going to start his nightly survey of the moon, irregardless of the atmospherics on the moon. Believe it or not, it is in focus. It is in focus. And you can see how this is a very good example of atmospherics. See how wavy it is? You can see it kind of waves in and out of focus. Well, that's because the atmosphere disturbances are causing this variance. And you can see the edge, how it goes up and down. This is probably going to be as good as it gets for this evening. This is Clavis, and it's popular among UFO people because they believe a lot of UFO activity has occurred on here. They've seen lasers coming from here and all kinds of weird things. So I was camped on there just to kind of keep an eyeball on it. Interesting, here we have a hornet nest crater definitely sticking up in the air, and definitely with one of those protuberances right smack in the middle, kind of on a level with the top of the rim. Some strange stuff, guys. I actually have seen, believe it or not, 7 UFOs on the moon as I've been kind of just waiting for the moon to settle down for us. See, typically when the moon rises is probably the worst time to look at the moon. You want to wait until it's up probably about 30 degrees. The problem I'm having tonight is I probably shouldn't even have a moon because, quite frankly, the weather we've had here in this area has been thunderstorms for the last 3 days, raining cats and dogs all day. But this evening it kind of cleared up, so I figure, well, I'm going to give it my shot. Look at these kind of strange shadows down here, guys. See, that's a crater right there, and that's the rim. But it's sticking out. Here's something sticking up. Sometimes you can see lights in the dark area. Certain people think that there's a lot of lights in the dark area, and you can go there and look at it. And I'll probably do a survey in the dark one of these days, but for right now I'm going to try to just do a normal one in spite of the atmospherics. The thing about this is every time you look at the moon, it's different. Now, there's another crater right there. Clearly, looks like Mount Rushmore. See how it goes up at an angle? See the angle? You can see it. See it, kind of a ridge line sloping all the way up. Massive mountain. Flat rim kind of on the top, although there's a little protuberance here sticking out in there. And then, of course, right in the middle. Strangest things I've ever seen, guys. Now here's something to make you scratch your head. This here looks to me like it's a square. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like it's maybe a base, like a moon base. You know what I mean? I am bound and determined to see what I can see on the moon. Come hell or high water, and tonight we got hell because it's a disturbance. Now see this, what does this remind you of? That's the needle ship that I said was like a UFO, a crashed UFO on the surface. I mean, if you have a better thing to call it, it's definitely made by fallen angels. That's a train. I don't think it's a tunnel because there's nothing at this end. I know there's something at this end here, but it just, I don't really know what it is, but it looked to me like it might have been a needle ship, because I've seen pictures of those by the sun. Now here's something very unusual. We got something sticking right out from the rim into the inside of the crater, like a diving board or something. And here's our fish. See how it weaves in and out of focus? That's the disturbance of the atmosphere. They say the best time to look at the moon, where you don't have the waviness at all, is probably in the dead of winter when it's cold. And when it's cold like that, you don't have very many atmospherics between here and the moon. The problem is we've had a tremendous rain, and there's probably a lot of upper level disturbance, and that's what we're looking at right here, the upper level disturbance. Although it has considerably settled down compared to before when I first started looking at the moon. I've been looking at the moon for about 2 hours. There's our spinal column, and here, now this is a good example of what we can see, and sometimes the difference is this crater here, we've seen it before, we've never seen it defined as well. And you can see it's kind of like sitting on top of a mountain range. And there's something right there in the middle. I've always said that when you see something like that in the middle of a crater, it's a sign of a base. I don't think that those are natural. And then I've called this the coughing mountains or coughing ridge, and this is, I think when I first saw it, it reminded me of a spinal column. And see how it goes into the darkness? Now that's because it's being overtaken by the shadow. Let's raise there, so we raise the exposure up a little bit so we can see. And this is kind of like what I've called a C, and I believe on the moon maps they call them Mars. And you can see these unusual details, and you kind of wonder what really caused this to be flat. I was conjecturing that maybe it's crystal, and there's a city under there. I have no idea, but it seems like sometimes when the light is right. See these little. Let me stop this thing a little bit. If you look, at, see that right there, there. I think those are points of light. They're not craters. And if the light shines in a certain way on this Mar, you'll see they'll be very bright. It all hinges on the light. Now take a look at this. I know it's weaving in and out of focus, but isn't this just beautiful? Absolutely stunning. I noticed this last night and I didn't say anything. This to me looks real strange. I don't know what it is. It doesn't look like part of a crater. It looks like it's maybe a tunnel system or something. See how it goes around and down and up? Who knows what it is? Very, very strange, guys. Every time you look at the moon, you see something more unusual. Now see, the details over here are kind of washed out. I can bring them in by just dropping the exposure down just a notch. See how the details came out? And this right here still sticks out. I don't know what it is. And the same with this one right here. That one might be a shadow, but this one here, it's a shadow, but it's a strange shape. I just don't know what's causing it. You can see though that I've clearly got it in focus because of the detail that comes out when it settles down. I wanted to bring to your attention while I'm thinking about it, I have been really working to try to improve my focus, and I've been studying focus controls for this telescope all day, and I think that there is a solution to it, and I'll probably end up getting something. And the kind of thing I'm getting, you know, you have a focus knob on the back of this telescope, and when you turn it, it's tied to the mirror in the back of the telescope. The mirror, let me draw a circle of the mirror. And you're moving the mirror back and forward. Well, you can buy a focus control, Descartes, I believe that's what that's called. And I believe that people think that's a nuke plant in there. And let me adjust the focus down a little bit to bring out some of the detail of this. There you go. Anyhow, with that focus control, one revolution will do so much. They have one where you turn it 10 times and it's one revolution, so it's a kind of a drop down on that. But there's another way you can do it, and that is put a focus control, a fine-tuned kind of thing, focus control by the eyepiece, and that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the various options, because when I do the Barlow, it's in need of real fine adjustment, and I just don't have that adjustment right now. See, it is starting to settle down, guys. We might get a good survey in. Isn't this beautiful? I think it's absolutely stunning. This actually is a mountain range, and these right here look to me like tunnels. I didn't mention them but they were on my video from yesterday. Very strange. And you can see some of the details around this big crater. And this is the kind of area that reminds me of a kind of a runway, an airport runway with all the runway lights. Really some beautiful stuff. Let's go right up here to the top to see what we can see. And I think that let's let's drop down right down through the middle. There's my my dragon. See the head, the front foot, the rear foot, and the wing. And let's drop the exposure down to bring out some more of the detail. See, it brought out more of the detail. And let me check the saturation. I'm going to turn the saturation up a little bit. And when I did see it, brought out the blue on the left side. Isn't that beautiful? See how it stopped waving and weaving in and out? See, right now it's 2:16 in the morning. And it took from the moon has been up for over 2 hours, so it's taken 2 hours for it to really settle down. And the higher in the air it goes, the more stable it is. So if you really want to get good high quality video, so we got a little atmospherics coming in again, you just about have to wait until the moon rises at least up over the 30-degree mark on the horizon. I've always wondered what really this is. It kind of looks like it might be just a little mountain range, but you see, this looks like a square, and it could be part of a base. I don't know. Let me turn the exposure up a little bit. There you go. Okay, a little bit more. And we're back at the shadow line. Let's go to the right of the spinal column. And now let's go up. See, this is the shadow line. Now tell me that doesn't look pretty. Look at that blue coming in there with all the... Absolutely stunning. Stunning video, guys. Stunning. See, sometimes if you wait around a little bit in my videos, it clears up. Like this video right now is 18 minutes long, and it started to clear up about 15 minutes into the video. But I'm not going to chop it off because I'm trying to teach wannabe astronomers out there some things about how everything works. And part of the deal is you got to learn. Let me drop the exposure down a little bit so you can see some of the detail. There you go. See, it brought out the points of light. So what you should have learned from me this evening is that basically if you try to do the moon too early in the evening, you're going to get a lousy image. And if you are patient and wait, and now isn't that beautiful? Just in its own way, it's just really neat. A lot of times at the as it gets higher, the moon rises higher in the sky, it's going to get rid of those atmospherics, and then the image settles down. At the beginning of this video, you saw the defined waves. As we got into it, now look, there's not hardly any. You can still see it, but not as defined as it was before. And I guarantee you, it was really lousy when I first started looking at the moon. There's our fish. Let me raise the, see, brighten it up a little bit. Okay, so we're doing a exploration of the moon. Raise the exposure a little bit so you can see. This is probably as clear of a picture of the needle ship as you probably have ever seen. And I mean, I really don't know what it is, but it's definitely made by fallen angels, and it's not natural. And that is definitely something sticking out into that crater from the rim. And it's not natural. So what's that tell you? Must be a moon base pretty close. That's probably the moon base. See all the cubby holes and things. There's my square. That thing's a moon base for sure. That looks like another little crater right there at the edge, and same there. Okay, let's drop the exposure down. See, it brings out more detail. I want you to think about something. This was pretty much focused when I first started this thing, but it was weaving in and out, and you can see that it is clearly in focus now. So when it weaves like it does because of atmospherics, what that does is that that has the tendency to fool you, and you think it's out of focus, but it's really not. And you can see the kind of the waves. Coming back. But it is hauntingly beautiful. No doubt about it. Look at that, a kind of a compound. It's a and look at that. That looks like that's angled up. It's probably not, but that's just what it looks like into a higher mountain. But it's not a higher mountain. See, that's a crater right there with a just. It looks like something man-made. Just like that looks like that's man-made too, guys. And that kind of looks square too, see? Like that. Now let's stop there just a second. And I want you to compare this picture here with the one at the very, very beginning. It's still weaving back and forth, but it's not as bad as it was when I first started this thing. And you can tell that when it settles down, you can see more detail. when I get the whatever I decide to get, when I get this new focuser in, I'm going to try the Barlow out again. I don't think I'm going to try the Barlow until I get that focuser in, whatever one I decide to get, because it's just too difficult to see anything unless it's just honed on. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the top, and then I'm going to go down to the bottom left, and that and finish it up at that really flat, beautiful sea of craters. Now look at this. I'm gonna change the exposure, but I want you to look at this and compare it. When it's like this, you can see the points of light are basically very, very bright spots, and then you can see the rims of these other craters really clear. But as I drop the exposure down, now watch. See what happens? The color jumps out. A lot more detail comes out around these bright craters, and you can see more. One of my Facebook friends indicated to me that she got her, I guess her son, a telescope today. I don't know if I was any influence on that, but I'm hoping that these videos that I do will encourage you to get into astronomy and to heed our Lord's challenge to you to keep your eyes on the heavens. In Revelation, that's what it tells us to do, to be prepared for what's coming down. I can't believe that Peterson Air Force Base is basically going to cancel leaves for everybody when Obama's in town, right around the 27th of September, you know. There's so many things that are pointing to that date. I don't know what's coming down. Let me brighten this thing up just a little bit. But something's coming down, guys. Something's coming down. And you know the old adage from the Boy Scouts, be prepared for the unknown. Clear skies, guys.